Tell me about Andy Harrison.
According to Wikipedia, Andrew Harrison is a British businessman, former chief executive officer of Whitbread, the British multinational hotel, coffee shop and restaurant company.
There you go.
There's so much of my life you don't know about. Thank you very much for joining us in an episode of Film Club. I am one of your hosts, Andrew Harrison, the business owner. And to my right, as always, it's Ian Dalton.
Hello.
The not business owner.
No, but Andrew Johnson. No, doesn't matter.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into cinema's best before coming back here to talk it out. Why are you touching my phone, you little bitch?
Turn your timer on.
This week, we have been watching... Oh, we got a drum roll this week.
Yeah, we've got 100 subscribers, drum roll.
Tree of Life, 100 subscribers. We'll have to talk about maybe doing a special or something, but yeah.
Well played.
100 of you guys. Tree of Life. So, Andy, I can't wait for this. What's Tree of Life about?
It's about a family that grow up, they have a kid, and they have a second kid. The father's a bit strict, this, that, and the other, and it's about that kid's, how he goes through life. He's like, he becomes a bit rebellious, you know, because of his father. He doesn't now really treat his brother, then he reconciles with his brother. His father reconciles with him, says, I'm sorry for my previous past. And amongst all that, there's a theme of spirituality and philosophical elements, starting from the universe, how it started, you know, bacteria on Earth that formed water creatures, you know, early days.
We call those fish sometimes.
No, I wouldn't say fish. It's like early days, before jellyfish.
Amphibious creatures. And...
more like mini jellyfish. Anyway, point is it's evolution. Then it goes dinosaurs and it goes to modern day life. And then it ends because the brother unfortunately passes away, which you actually see in the start of the film. And they have like a little, oh, bye.
Oh, bye. Bye now. Bye.
What do you think of it?
This is brilliant. Like, so if anyone doesn't know, it's Terrence Malick. And if you've never seen this film, I can't wholeheartedly say go watch it immediately. But if you love weirdly abstract, artsy films, definitely go and watch this. How did you feel about it?
I really didn't like it.
Really? Go on.
So this is like the first time for ages me and you have disagreed about something, normally quite a thing. There's particular elements I liked. Before I start, I just want to say that the sound and the visualization of it, you know, the cinematography was superb. So you start this film, yeah, great, nice. I can kind of get into this. It's a bit slow. Then suddenly there's all these like kind of whispering going on, and I'm like, all right, okay. Then you got Sean Penn, who's like represents the older brother. And he's going around, he's lost in a city. Then he's in a desert. Then he's whispering. Then the universe starts, and it feels like a really, really, really superb documentary. I was fucking loving that bit. You know, the dinosaurs, I fucking love that.
Amazing.
But then it's Jessica Chastain whispering over it, and I'm like, nah, I can't hack this. I can't hack that. What I'd prefer in that moment, I'd love that filmed to be either, and no, I won't go into that, I'll come to that in a bit. And then you come back to their family life, and it's about him growing up. Reminds me quite a bit Boyhood. I know it was a revert back to Boyhood, you know, elements of that. And then it goes at the end, and there's whispering again, Sean Penn in a fucking desert with a door, and then you're like, I'll give my life back to you. I'm sorry, mate. Maybe I'm missing something, but it was too artsy, too pretentious for me. I'd prefer to have that, something like the documentary part, great, like Werner Herzog, is that his name?
Yeah.
Him voiceover there, or what's his name, Brian Cox? Is it Brian Cox, you know, the theoretical?
Yeah.
Him doing something over like that would be absolutely fantastic, because the visual elements of that was amazing, how it went forward, parts of the dinosaurs, or something like Philip Glass, to have him do the music. Don't get me wrong, the music was good, but something like Philip Glass where the music heavily complemented the film, like Koyaanisqatsi Katsi. Superb, I would love that. Or just take the element out of it and have a film much like Boyhood, but obviously not like Boyhood, where you see this character grow up, you know, because I just didn't feel anything towards the kid. He died, and he's like, oh shit, that's bad. Then suddenly the universe starts. Then suddenly it's this kid growing up, and it's a relationship. Then at the end, it's like, I give my life to you. Am I supposed to be like, what am I don't care.
I think there is a point in this film where you have to give this film everything, and then some. It's not an easy film to like in any way. It's what was the film we discussed before, which was like Mulholland Drive.
Right.
Yeah, you're either there's a point in Mulholland Drive. There's a point in Mulholland Drive where you are either you're on board or you're off. And I think for everybody, this is probably the same thing.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, if you are doing anything else while you watch this film, stop because you have to give this film the fullest attention.
But I actually did. The majority of parts, it might be one or two scenes where I didn't.
I'm not saying that's the key to enjoying it. I'm
Yeah,
saying
but you need to
people out
watch
there who
it,
haven't seen it, if your intention is to watch it, you have to give it everything. So for anyone who doesn't know, Terrence Malick was renowned for being part of like the American New Wave, the Hollywood New Wave movement. He made a film called Badlands, which is like this sort of revolutionary film with a lot of charm, but it wouldn't be until his second film that he really took off. But he's only made a handful of films, and he like in between each of his films, there's a good 8-10 years.
So Badlands came out in 1973. Then you had Days of Heaven, I mentioned in the second one.
Days of Heaven is phenomenal.
1978, and then you got Thin Red Line, 1998, and this in 2011. So they're the ones I just got here. There might be more.
Yep. So you find his Tree of Life, and Tree of Life for a lot of people is like considered his magnum opus. It won the Palme d'Or when it came out. It had a weird sort of like delayed production. Sorry, not the production. The distribution.
Oh, really?
The distribution was weirdly postponed. He wasn't sure about it. It takes so long to make them that like he almost submitted it one year to the Cannes Film Festival, and I think he said he gave them a copy of it, an unfinished copy, and they were like, "Oh yeah, great, let's do this." And he actually backed off and was like, "No, it's not ready."
Is that because they said great, not wow?
Possible. I think it was. I don't think he's sort of person that looks at people's reactions to his work. I think it's all about what he's saying with it himself. So the next year would put it in, and it would get like this weird sort of perfect like amalgamation here. It got booed and it got cheered and standing ovations.
See, and when I looked into it after, it's
this immensely, and his whole style is so polarizing because
But
like
I've seen the Thin Red Line and I like that.
yeah, Thin Red Line's a bit easy because like you've got those action sequences. This is like devoid of action sequences. So like you don't even have like the odd thing that comes in and saves you from his style every so often. But this is relentlessly Terrence Malick for like 2.5, 3 hours.
It's 2.25.
So what you end up with is this weird sort of like meditation for 2 hours 45 minutes.
I couldn't do it. I mean, I've meditated before, and I get the whispering, but the whispering takes me away from a film. I'm watching a film, I want to sit down and just relax, buy into the story, because there's no real like. For me, there was no real flow forward with the film. The meditative elements took me away, and I was just like, I was trying to follow this film. I was like, all right, so I'm trying to keep my body, what's happening? Oh, suddenly she's whispering. It wasn't like, oh, let this wash over you and let this whispering take over, and you're communing with God and stuff like that. It's for me, it wasn't like that. The whispering actually took me away from the relaxing elements of this film, which is surprising, because there's an app called Headspace where it's all about like quiet, calm voices. It's all about mindfulness and stuff like that, and the whispering in that does keep you in that relaxed sense of state. It really didn't, and I really hope I'm missing something here, because I watched it and I felt no attachment. And I just felt it was. I'm sorry, but I just felt it was not a mess, but there was elements of it that was a mess.
Yeah.
There was that first part. I just wish they didn't do the death and the Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain at the start. Take that little snippet out, put it after or in between Nia in the other part. Start with the thing of life.
But it's the circle of life.
Weirdo. If you start with that amazing like documentary kind of part, then you start this family like a snippet in the life, much like Boyhood, like a snippet in the life. You go through, then obviously his brother dies, and it's like Sean Penn at the end, and then have him like becoming almost philosophical himself, and like this end, like all his life, I'm sorry, it's okay, we're all happy here. I could have got that, but it just fucking threw me off so much at the start that I think that was my downward, spiral.
This reminds me of a lot in stylistic terms. And obviously, I never realised before watching this how much Shane Carruth took from this with Upstream Colour.
Interesting you mentioned that, because I was going through and I was thinking, yeah, but you like Upstream Colour. You like Upstream Colour, and that's like fucking, not mind fucking, but you've got to buy into it.
One doesn't mean you have to like the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. But then I was just thinking, Shane Carruth is very kind of, you need to buy into his films, but I think even they have like a plot line, they have an end goal, whereas I just felt this one didn't.
Sorry. There's two people I think that need a good call out about this. Obviously, I mean, Terrence Malick, goes without saying. But there are two other people. The first is Emmanuel Lubezki. Emmanuel Lubezki is
I agree.
his cinematographer.
Brilliant.
Oh, well, it was a
Loved
cinematographer for this.
And it
He's the
looked
guy
fantastic.
who did Gravity and Birdman and Children of Men. The guy is phenomenal. And like this always comes up in conversations when people talk about the best looking films ever made.
It did look amazing.
It's gorgeous. You can just watch this and just drink in the visuals.
And even the documentary about the dinosaurs and the Earth and the nebulas, the CGI was superb.
I want to come back to that in a second. Actually, yeah, I'm going to come back in a second. And that leads in quite nicely to my second person, a fella called Douglas Trumbull. Douglas Trumbull.
So that's funny, but it is.
Douglas Trumbull was his VFX consultant.
All right.
And I think he said that Douglas helped out on this film because as a favour to Terrence Malick. He's the guy who worked on 2001: A Space Odyssey and getting those visual effects going. So when Terrence Malick turned around to him and said, I've got this idea, I need to do these things, but I hate CGI, and I don't like the way that like CGI universes are rendered, and I'm going to have to tell this idea of the birth of the universe, and I have to visually represent it. How the hell am I going to do that without CGI? He turns around and went, well, let's do it like we did on 2001. And he started playing around with like dyes and inks and water and like really high frame rates.
Really
and,
enjoyed that.
Macro photography and stuff. And like it make this sort of like visual collage to represent ideas and the passage of time.
I enjoyed it. The visuals of this film was great. Like you said, when it was all the planets, the nebulas and stuff like that, I loved that. And then obviously it came on and expanded more. It's just that part there, I feel like if you expanded upon that, made it into a lovely documentary about how I'd be all over Terrence Malick there.
So those two people I thought definitely needed mentioning. And on your point of the dinosaur moment for me was like, I think the moment where I was like, I'm in. Because weirdly, we were watching this wonderfully constructed, beautiful film that's got an unusual pace. It's embracing like Soviet montage style of filmmaking. And then...
Soviet montage?
Yeah, Soviet montage, sorry. So, not to go into this too much, if anyone doesn't know what Soviet montage is, it's the idea of like, you show images without necessarily a sequence, and it results in people understanding something. So, for example, the kid's death in this.
Yeah.
You have kids playing.
The
in a
telegram thing.
Well, you don't even need that. Because what you get is you get kids playing in the tree, you get a waterfall, and then you get the tree that's empty. And from that, you can go, oh God, someone died. So like, I think there's the difficulty with Terrence Malick is like that's the sort of approach you have to take to his films is understanding like that level of visual storytelling, and it's not for everybody. Sorry, back to the dinosaur before I go off too long. The dinosaur was I just watched this weird CGI interaction of one dinosaur popping up a river, seeing an almost dead dinosaur, putting its foot on its head,
and it's just like, nah, I don't really want to kill you, mate.
And then being like, nah, I'm off.
Yeah.
And then you get the meteor impact into Earth.
And by the way, how does it look over the Earth? And it's all like blacks out and stuff.
And I'm sitting there watching that, and at that point, from just CGI dinosaurs, foot, asteroid hits Earth, all fake, I've got a lump in my throat, and I'm like, fuck, that was powerful.
Yeah.
Because what he's doing without a single inch, a single idea of a word, is he's going, this is the birth, or the idea of the birth of consciousness and the birth of choice being a thing. And then look at this fragile thing just get wiped out or just get endangered to the point of extinction. And like I was like, fuck, he knows what he's doing here.
And then he decides to go back to his old original film, and it's just like Brad Pitt, Jessica Chastain, they've got kids, great, fantastic, nice one. Then it just gets a bit colluded for me.
For me, like I was totally on board with the whole thing. I thought performances all around were great.
Yeah, they were actually.
Especially that kid who
plays
Jake. My God.
It was quite nice seeing Brad Pitt in a Radid role because it's very unusual for him.
Very
and
unusual
I just think anything she touches, Jessica Chastain is incredible. Like, have you seen Zero Dark 30, for example? Fucking mint.
I haven't actually.
Oh, it's fucking good, mate. It's fucking good. I think we need to have a shout out for the music as well because I did really enjoy that. Yeah. That was Alexandra Desplat. Really lovely kind of like classical, like kind of contemporary classical, even opera elements when
Yeah,
the universe. And I've been recently, I need to tell you actually, I've been recently probably like getting into my kind of opera stuff at the moment.
Oh, cool.
So there was just really kind of weird coincidence there. It was like only last week I was like looking at playlists on Spotify. So I was like fucking digging this music, man. So I was really enjoying that. And even throughout the whole film, it has this really, it backs up the scenes that even if you don't like it like myself, you can, connect to, you can like empathise with. The music helps enhance those and move them forward, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
For me, it was the plot, it was the pace, like you said, it was just the way it was done. In the end, I'm sorry, Terrence Malick, it was the way it was directed. Everything else that he did in it was absolutely fantastic. Like the cinematography, the music, the acting, and everything like that. You can't put blame on Terrence Malick. He knows how to pick his people.
So there we go. That is Tree of Life. It's this weird sort of existentially, metaphorically layered film, which you may love or you may hate.
I didn't hate. I just really didn't like. I didn't. We're gone.
Hate's a strong word. We'll be back once again next week, though. Before then, you can let us know what you thought of Tree of Life, either in the comments below, or you can hit us up on Twitter. We've got a request. In celebration of our 100 subscribers, we had one of our subscribers reach out to us and make a request.
He said, "You're a sound blokes."
Literally what he said. Not quite. Can you remember what it is?
Yes, it's in Bruges.
In Bruges.
Colin Farrell, for one actor.
Which I believe the guy's name was Jake. I'll have to find out. If I got that
I
wrong,
think he would have attempted me.
If I got that wrong, it's on screen right now, making me look like a complete idiot. So if
Bruges.
you wanna join the club, get
In
watching
Bruges.
In Bruges, and we'll see you next week.
You're an inanimate fucking object.